This is the Ries Report, and I'm Laura Ries. Today's report is on the Wiggles. Now, if you don't have kids under 5 or haven't had kids under 5 in the last 15 years, I should tell you that the Wiggles are a preschool singing sensation from down under in Australia. And they're also an extremely powerful global brand, a brand that is extremely powerful and was built by being the opposite. They weren't some cheesy cartoon characters. These were real guys, cool guys that both kids and adults love. And it's an extremely profitable business. Last year, the Wiggles made $38.4 million. Can you believe that? The Wiggles phenomena is amazing. They were the highest entertainment earners in Australia for the second year in a row. And they were ahead of AC/DC, actor Nicole Kidman, singer Keith Urban, and actor Russell Crowe. Now, I was recently at a Wiggles concert in Atlanta. My 2 little ones dragged me to go see the Wiggles, and it was a very exciting event. The stadium was packed with little ones and their parents. But there was a tragedy going on, because when they dimmed the lights, when we got all excited, there was an announcement made that there would be no Yellow Wiggle at the show. No Yellow Wiggle? I mean, he's the lead singer. He's why we were here. I loved Greg Wiggle. It was a tragedy, and I made a mental note to go home and Google Greg to see what was going on. I mean, come on, it's like going to a U2 concert and hearing that Bono wasn't going to show up. Total tragedy for the concert and for the brand. Well, maybe it's not exactly like going to a U2 concert, but you get the idea. So what happens to the Wiggle brand? It's an interesting branding dilemma. Can the Wiggles brand survive without Greg Wiggle, the lead Wiggle? Very interesting question. And the truth is, and the reality is, you bet, the Wiggles can survive. Why can they survive? Because they are a strong brand. And strong brands can even survive sometimes the greatest setbacks. But you have to do something. What was really dragging down the Wiggles is because when I went home and I Googled Greg, I found out that he was suffering from a mystery illness, one that was keeping him at home in bed, one that caused him to miss 150 shows. The uncertainty and the word of mouth and people talking about the trouble with the Wiggles and no Greg Wiggle was damaging to the brand and the franchise and potentially hurting the future. But luckily, the Wiggles did the right thing. When you have a strong brand, you need to save the brand. When you face tragedy, you need to do something, and that's exactly what the Wiggles did. They had a big event of passing the yellow jersey. Unfortunately, due to his illness, Greg had to step out of the Wiggles brand, but they brought in a new Wiggle, terrific, and they had a big launch on the website to introduce this new Wiggle and the yellow jersey. And this got great PR because the Wiggles are a brand. They do anything, they get PR. And here's an article, "Hush Mama, Don't You Cry, a new yellow Wiggle will sing." Now, you might think that's funny, interesting piece, but can you imagine? Do you know what paper this was? It wasn't just any paper. This was the front page of the New York Times. That is the power of branding. Other brands have survived similar tragedies. Blue's Clues, another successful kids group, survived when its lead actor, Steve, left for college. They brought in a new actor, one that played Steve's brother on the show, Joe, and the Wiggles, and the Blue's Clues brand has survived. See, strong brands are almost bulletproof. If you have a very strong brand, you can use PR and doing something to survive in the long term. I mean, come on, remember what happened to Mel Gibson last summer? We all do. Many people said he was done, forget it. Well, he has indeed survived because he had the ability and he did a lot of positive PR and work to bring back his brand, and I think he will survive in the long run. Martha Stewart, she not just got into trouble, she had to go to jail in an orange jumpsuit. And her brand, she went from jail right to Larry King, the king of PR and people trying to resurrect their brands. And she has been doing an excellent job in bringing back her brand. When you have a strong brand, you can survive. But what happened to Peter? Peter, if you remember, was the stockbroker who also got in trouble with Martha and by making that infamous call to Martha. Peter, unfortunately, is way out of luck. Peter didn't have a brand, and Peter also doesn't have a job or much of a future, and he wasn't on Larry King Live. Strong brands can survive. That's the lesson for today. You build a strong brand by being powerful, by owning something in the mind, and even if tragedy strikes, you can survive as well as your brand. That's the Ries Report. I'm Laura Ries.